Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to your third channel of tonight, and probably more than your third match of the day. If you've been watching Heroes Lounge all day long, it's a kind of Super Sunday, which is to be expected, considering, well, you've only got 1 week, one Sunday for the Cup. It is the Cup that is also on this channel. My name is Omand, and I'll be casting this Cup match alongside Karis. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, and how are you this evening?
Yeah, weather's good. Heroes should be good. I'm looking forward to it. Let's see if Budgeville Bush Bashers, and don't ask me if I can say that 5 times fast, because I can't. We'll be able to get a second win in the group versus Division 5 team Southgate Boiz. Logic says they should be able to, but logic also says that Budgeville Bush Bashers should have lost to Overshadow, yet they didn't.
Yeah, it's been a group already where things are not going quite as expected. As you say, Budgeville Bush Bashers beat Overshadow, the Division 3 champions, so who were a bit of not Division 3 champions, Division 3 team, who'd done pretty well. So that's an upset there. There was also a match between Southgate Boiz, who we're about to see play, and Oil Refinery last night, which I cast as well. And although Oil Refinery eventually won that, it was a pretty close series, 2-1 in fact. And I got the sense that Southgate Boiz are really prepared to come out fighting against some of these higher division teams. And so it could be really exciting tonight.
It's going to be pretty fun. If I recall, Southgate Boiz do like to run some interesting comps here and there. Perhaps we'll see them we'll be able to talk about them in the draft. But for now, we are waiting for both teams to be ready. And I suppose that we should tell the viewers which maps have been banned.
Yes, so what we saw is that Budgeville Bush Bashers won the coin toss, so they had first map pick. They've banned Dragonshire, and Braxis Holdout was banned by Southgate Boiz. And we are now going to go to Tomb of the Spider Queen.
Tomb of the Spider Queen?
Looks like both teams... Sorry, not Tomb of the Spider Queen, Towers of Doom. It's a good thing I created the right lobby, and even though I said the wrong one. So we are going to Towers of Doom correctly.
We are going to
and it looks
Towers
like we're
of
ready
Doom.
to start.
Yeah, we can start, I think. So, how about we do that?
Yes, let's go.
Of Doom.
So, well, what I saw from Southgate Boiz last night is really strong team fights. What they did quite impressively against Oil Refinery is play Gul'dan a lot. They played Gul'dan in game 1 before it started getting banned against them, and they did really good horrifies. I think it's Phonics for the Southgate Boiz who plays Gul'dan. It was really, really strong Gul'dan play there. Budgeville Bush Bashers, on the other hand, they play a lot of things, but in particular, they love ETC. So I think if Southgate Boiz have done their homework, we might see an ETC ban coming out first, because Budgeville Bush Bashers prioritize their ETC so highly. They played him in 17 games and with an over 75% win rate.
17 games? Holy shit.
So it could be we could see an ETC ban there as a respect, but of course we could also see a meta ban coming out first, like the Garrosh, maybe a Chromie because of the map. Okay, here's the Garrosh ban.
Good old Garrosh. You're never going to see any play, really. No,
yeah, I keep wanting to practice Garrosh more in ranked, but I just can't because he's always banned.
I'm going to be honest. I tend to ban Garrosh as well, so. Don't mind me.
Well, I think since the Diablo rework, we're seeing a lot more Garrosh bans as well, because Diablo doesn't need banning in the same way. Okay, he still has strengths, but he's harder to make work properly, and so he's less likely to be a first pick priority. So that just leaves Garrosh really as as the sort of dominant tank.
Mm-hmm. And of course, it should be mentioned that there's currently a bug with with Diablo's Lightning Breath. So one of Diablo's more potent builds, which is the W Spell Power Lightning Breath build, is not available. which is, you know, what kind of puts a dent in the Lord of Terror's reign of terror.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think last night that caught Oil Refinery by surprise because they picked the Diablo and then realized Lightning Breath was banned, and maybe they were not really planning to use that
My
Eclipse.
blades are yours.
We did see as a first ban the Malfurion coming from Budgeville Bushbashers. That's a very well-targeted ban because Southgate boys love that Malfurion. They picked it every game yesterday, and they picked it a lot this season. Here's that ATC coming out on the side of Triple B as well. We talked about, this is going to be game number 18 this season for ATC for them. And we do see a lovely mariachi skin, so we'll have some nice sounds to go with his slides.
Ah, excellent. Mariachi Mosh Pit is pretty good, I have to say. Way better than Country Skin, but then again, I don't like Country, so I might be biased on that count. We do see Sonya coming out from the Southgate boys as well. Well, what can you say about Sonya? She's still pretty good. Nothing more to say. She does her thing in the solo lane, and she, well, she wrecks faces. That's what she does.
Yeah, she's a good all-rounder. She can do well in solo, as you say, and also late game, she still delivers, you know, really good team fighting value, and is a bit of front line, so you have a bit more protection. So a good all-rounder there. Stukov coming out on the side of Triple B as well. It's a solid pick. You know, you get the slide maybe from ETC into a silence, and you can just get stuck feeling so ruined by a combo like that.
Yeah, or it's the reverse where Stukov sets it up with either a virulence on 13, or just popping your trait to slow someone, because that slow is really potent, and then EC follows up. He provides a lot of fun things from a support, although his healing did get nerfed recently.
Yeah, so his healing is not as high as some supports, but so much CC with the silence, with the slows, with potentially the roots.
Ready for action.
Mirrodin coming out. That's one of the, I think, one of the harder tanks to get right. I mean, you can do a DPS Mirrodin who does absolute devastating damage, but I think it's more likely we'll see something a bit more tank-focused play from Mirrodin here on the side of Southgate boys, as probably a soul tank going with that Sonya.
I mean, I see someone in chat touting their own horn as playing Li Ming as a counter to Sonya in the solo. Well, for one, they're on the same team. For another, there are probably better options if you're looking to counter Sonya in the solo. Not saying it's bad, just saying there's better options. Like, I would prefer my Li Ming to be my 4-man, where she can actually get kills.
Is Nibble My Carrots the same as the player Carrots on the side of
This seems likely.
BB?
This seems likely.
Tell us in chat, Nibble My Carrots. The Uther ban. I mean, Uther Sonya is, a classic, because Sonya's main vulnerability is, I guess, to getting locked down and then killed that way. And Uther provides so much protection against that, but potentially with a Divine Shield. But it's still, quite unorthodox to pick an Uther in this day and age. Tannis coming out for BBB. Again, another pick that they really like, which is, this one's a bit more strange. You don't see Artanis picked up by a lot of teams, whereas ETC and Stukov, they're fairly standard. Artanis is a bit more niche, but Carrots, possibly aka Nibble My Carrots, loves a bit of Artanis and has played 12 games of Artanis this season. So that suggests they really like Artanis. Those first 3 picks, ETC, Stukov, Artanis, on the side of Budgeville Bush Bashers, were all kind of comfort picks. They're all picks they pick a lot of. So they're not doing anything exotic. They're not trying something unorthodox specifically for this map. They're playing the heroes they know, and presumably they play those heroes well. I guess we'll see how that unfolds throughout the match.
Wait till they get
Ooh, spicy. We do see Malthael coming out, but I'm just going to skip Malthael for now and go to the Kerrigan. Which is, well, it's always fun to see Kerrigan come around because she either...
Do what I must.
Oh, hello. She either gets the kills or she falls and fails dramatically. Like, Kerrigan is a very polarizing hero. Either you get ahead and most likely stay ahead, or you're... Like, Kerrigan, she doesn't create her like some heroes do, but her viability falls off as some key tools become unlocked, like saving tools. Zukov doesn't really have a saving tool except for like not one he gets on 10, unless you hit the right, unless you go swipe or you hit the right deportation arm. But it's still very risky pick, and probably one Southgate boys actually need to make a dent into what should be a disfavorable matchup for them.
Yeah, I think Kerrigan, as you say, it's interesting. I'm not sure about the Alex Strasser with that. That's a bit... You know, Alex Strasser is a hero who provides a lot of AoE healing to her team if they can all get in the right place, and can get certainly big healing numbers. But Kerrigan often wants those really targeted heals. It depends, maybe they practice this and they're going to execute it with a cleansing flame from Alex Strasser on top as well. When Kerrigan dives in with those combos, dropping the cleansing flame, the heals from the skies onto Kerrigan could be one way of keeping her alive, but it's going to be difficult.
Don't forget that Dragon Queen is also a really big early cooldown, so it also makes a bit of sense in that regard, because if you want to snowball the early, then getting Alex Strasser, who essentially has a heroic for her trait, oh, that's a good idea, I'd say.
Yes, it is. The problem is that this map is maybe not so conducive to that, because the lanes are a bit further apart than in some of the tighter Alex Strasser maps like Tomb or Shrines, and there isn't really that constant rotation where you can keep the pressure. And also the objectives, there isn't one big focal objective like you have in Infernal Shrines, say, where a Dragon Queen can control that objective. This is a map where the first objective is in 3 places at once. So presumably their plan might well be to get the top, get their own safe objective, the top one, and then use the Dragon Queen to contest that middle objective once that's been secured.
We'll have to see as we head on over into game number 1 of Budgeville Bush Bashers versus Southgate Boys. On the left hand side, we have BBB with Spotini on the Malfield, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, there it is. Stigs on the Stukov, Phenomenon on the full side, Carrots on the Artanis, and I can't read the name, on the EDC.
And on the red team, we have Phonics on Li Ming, Murdersacker on Kerrigan, Mr. Botbot on Alex Strasser, Strinan on Sonya, and Phil on Muradin, playing for the Southgate Boys.
Right, going into talents, we do see Seasoned Marksman on Artanis. We also see on a Pale Horse for Malfield, as there is a bit of poke coming out here and there. W build Alex, Kerrigan goes in, gets a stun onto 2 people. Slide comes in, swap comes in. Sonya in a lot of trouble, but she is able to spin out and should live. And that ended with a lot of smoke and no fire, essentially.
Yeah, it was we're already seeing that aggression coming out from Murdersacker on Kerrigan. She wanted to go in pretty hard. The swap from Carrots and Artanis was really nice to kind of force Sonya to, because Sonya got swapped into those towers, so Sonya suddenly was on low health and had to start running away. Great play from Artanis to set that up. But on the other hand, Southgate Boys won't be too dissatisfied with that. They're showing the early pressure, and once the teams have split up a bit more, as we're seeing now, Kerrigan's going to start rotating, looking for these kills. She wants the foul side. Here she goes. The combo hasn't been used yet. Now it has.
There it is.
There for spin on top. Nice rotation there from Kerrigan.
Nice rotation. Malfield, meanwhile, was doing Malfield things, taking an early camp. One of the sappers is already going into the wall. Oh, that's not going to do much. Now Malfield has to race strike out. Zuko pops his heal on him as well, making sure he gets out in full. In the bot, camp is also being taken, but in the top, Ooh, nice stun onto Malfield. Wasn't expecting that, but he is going to be able to. Ooh, no, that's a Sonya Spear. Should probably back out now, but that's a good trade. And Murdersacker on the Kerrigan has to back, because if there's one thing I've ever learned about playing Kerrigan in versus AI, is that your mana is non-existent.
Yeah, ooh, nice Stukov silence there, especially to keep Kerrigan from coming in any further onto Malfield. In the meantime, Southgate boys took their own camp. Artanis and ETC thought about invading it whilst that skirmish was going on, but they decided against it in the end.
Oh, poor man, they're going on 6 with nice slide there from Symmetric, and that saves Stukov's life. Nicely done by the ETC, making sure the Stukov lives and doesn't die at a very inopportune time. Small experience lead for the Southgate boys for now. Oh dear, full South.
This is exactly what Southgate boys need to be doing with this Kerrigan comp. Rotating, looking for picks, forcing their advantage, forcing that early game kill pressure of Kerrigan that we talked about. And now they can potentially use this to secure 2 altars, although it looks like they're going to play a little bit safe on these altars and just focus on... because they've gone for 2v2 at the bottom lane.
They've gone for 2v2 because they didn't see where Artanis was, so they might have needed. Also, we now see Murden dropping very low, Malfield doing a heck of a lot of work. And is this going to be Phenomenon channeling it? This is going to be Phenomenon channeling it. But there's a nice double stun by the Kerrigan. Slide also coming in. Liming lands north onto ETC. Malfield's in the midst of it all, but and uses Racetrack to get out. There's an Alexstrasza Dragon being popped rather late. I'm not sure about that. There's a stun onto Malfield. Dragon's Breath also coming down. Sonya Murden gets swapped in. Sonya spins in, and everyone on the Southgate boys lives, making it 3-0 in terms of kills. That's probably acceptable.
Yeah,
you're them, even though you're
pretty
behind.
happy with the outcome there, but the kills were nice. I mean, the fact that nobody died on the side of Southgate boys is a miracle, and it comes down. That miracle came in the form of Dragon Queen. That's that massive healing value, effectively a heroic, really, at 3 minutes that you were talking about from the Alexstrasza. I do think possibly Southgate boys want a few more kills than they're getting right now. Like 3 kills to 0 is not huge, and they're not forcing that advantage quite as much as they might like to. There was a question in the chat about what division this is. It looks like Carver's Jocker answered that already. Yeah, but this is the Cup, so division stage is over. So effectively, I mean, anything can happen here. But of course, Southgate boys have come into this as the underdog for this match because they were the Division 5 team, and in fact, they barely qualified for the Cup because they were just about in the last qualification spot, I think.
Yeah, they were pretty much the bottom team that qualified. We do see Foresight going for the full W build, which has been gaining popularity. It's probably pretty good into the Kerrigan. Oh, nice swap there, interrupting the combo from Kerrigan. And now we do see Kerrigan dropping very low. Foresight also trying to get a kill. Murdersacker misses the heal. That's probably going to put paid to his attempts, as Southgate boys were 4v5 anyway, because Sonya was in top lane clearing up a mercenary camp.
Yeah, this isn't. We've seen the Southgate boys do this twice now so far this game, which is leave Sonya soaking whilst giving up potentially objectives, and as a result, they're a whole level ahead, which is nothing. That's not to be sneezed at, but they are of course 8 points down on their core as a result.
Oh, Malfield is in trouble. He doesn't have anything right now. He has the swap, but there's a Kerrigan stun, and that is a dead Malfield, and that is 4-0. Level lead being extended, and now they're just going to clear up these sappers. Sonya and Foresight are having fun in top lanes. Sonya doesn't quite have fun into W Foresight, but he is out of mana, so he's probably going to back off fairly soon.
Yeah, what I'm respecting a lot from Murdersacker on this Kerrigan is the discipline of waiting to use her rake and stun combo until somebody starts running away. She didn't go in and just immediately stun them. It's wait for them to be at max range so they can get punished the most for it, the most displacement.
Waiting for the mobility as well as there's a Stigs, there's a stun, and there's a kill.
Yeah, and they can turn this into a fort really early, and they've already got
Not
the 10.
really. They don't have any minions nearby. Nice wave of force there from Li Ming, making sure that nobody does anything. Ooh, ETC now in low trouble with orbs already down. That is a bit of damage not being used. But now we do see that. This is, by the way, 3 people in bot lane when the altar is spawning in top. And this is a 2v2-ish in top, but that's Murden dropping low. He has to use his third wind to regenerate. And now it's 3v2 in the top lane. Can Southgate get here in time? Even though they have ults, you're still man down. That having been said, Sonya is Sonya.
Yeah, and Malphil just got deleted off the face of the earth. Oh, that's really good stalling play from Southgate Boiz here. ETC stage diving in, the Gus trying to disengage, but it's not enough. And so Artanis has gone down as well. The Dragon Queen's coming out.
Oh, Dragon Queen and Cleansing Flame are on the ground. We also saw Stage Dive coming in, and now Southgate Boiz say we have this Dragon Queen up. We're here, all 5. They do not have any heroics except for Last Rite, which is irrelevant because Malphil died. We're just going to take the boss.
Yeah,
And
but I don't
possibly
think
get a bird. Possibly get an ET. No, instead it looks like it might be a kill onto Murdersacker and the Murden as well, as he took too much damage. Sonya is also in a lot of trouble. Does she have a spin to win? She does have a spin to win, and she gets out. Can Alex say the same? Yes.
And they didn't cap the altar in all of that time.
Oh my goodness, that's painful. At least they got the boss, but Ming is trying to make miracles happen. But miracles, while they do exist, don't exist this early on.
Yeah, I don't think she can poke anymore. Alex tries to poke as much as she can as well. Yeah, I mean, possibly slight greed here from Southgate Boiz. I absolutely understand the idea. Their idea was they just want a team fight. They were level 10. They had a slight advantage. They've got the Kerrigan early game, which is really strong. And so they want to press that advantage, get as much value as possible, and not...
Volstad is low. Murdersacker is looking for him. There's the blind. There's the roll. There's the kill. It has to be said, though, Southgate Boiz is doing this as 5. We see all 5 people in shot as Artanis is dismounted by a nice Li Ming orb, and a stun, and another stun, and the kill.
Yeah,
they are rotating as 5, but the Bush Bashers are taking a macro advantage for now. I can't see the exact division of who has more minion experience versus stuff, versus like that, things like that. But I would wager that the macro game is the Division 4 teams for now. However, they don't exactly they can't afford to give up so many kills.
Yeah, I don't even know that they are winning the macro game because remember that Sonya soaked so much early game.
That's true. That's
and
true.
And there was a lot of bottom pushing from Southgate Boiz.
There we go. There's the Malphil. There's everything going down. There's Kerrigan Maelstrom, Cleansing Flame. Lot of damage being popped. There's a Malphil dropping dead. Sukov has to use Flaming Smoke, but there's Kerrigan. ET also gets stunned out by the side, but Li Ming ends up saving him with the wave force. Artanis Volstad is in the nick of things in entirely the wrong place. And Artanis tried for a nice little swap, but Li Ming said no. And now we will see the second altar for the Southgate Boiz of the game, which is a 5-point altar because they took bot lane in the meanwhile.
Yes, and of course, Budgeville Bushbashers still have to defend the Sapper there, which was going to go onto their core. So we do see now Southgate Boiz really are starting to control the macro. They're controlling that bot lane, or they were at least, which is a very, it's the most important lane because you can get the 2 Sappers there.
And crucially, Artanis doesn't have amateur opponent, which does cut into his siege potential quite heavily. Like,
yeah,
they still take this, but it's slower than it could have been by far. Malphil is a pretty shit sieger as well, so if they ever lose something, you've basically forced out your best anti-siege, which isn't what I would like to say if it were my team.
Yeah, I would say that Southgate Boiz don't have great siege themselves either. And we saw that, like, even how long it took them to take the bottom fort in the first place. Oh, Kerrigan's engaging here onto Malthael. He's trying to escape, but Muradin's waiting at the back door.
Nope.
He's going to wreck him. Yeah, he's just going to go straight down. I do love this confidence of the Southgate boys. They're just going around owning the map with these 4-man ganks. Sonya's meanwhile getting camps and sometimes soak as well. So, you know, I respect them for kind of controlling the map like this. They certainly gave up a lot of core points in order to do that early game, but I would say the compensation seems to be in their favor so far.
Definitely.
But this three altar phase, how they play this is going to be crucial.
Wow.
Prepare yourselves, heroes.
That's a 16 on Alexstrasza.
Rise. One of my towers has been
Yeah, the shield is. I mean, well, she's gone full circle build.
Not
so
exactly.
The tower
Oh, bush gang. There's full start. There's. Oh my goodness me.
Yeah, that's the.
Stukov being beset on. And. Muradin misses the stun. ET gets a save onto multiple people. Li Ming now dies. And Malthael also gets in the kill as Kerrigan is pointed out of the heal. Alexstrasza tries to get things in. Tries to do damage onto people, but this is starting to turn into a rout for Budgeville Bushbashers, putting them back into the game. However, there were sapper shots going on to the call, so at least it's somewhat equal. Actually, entirely equal. It's 16 to 16.
like all the
Yeah, I mean,
not entirely equal. 12 to 20, but it's way better than it could have been for them. I'll be honest.
Yeah, what a turnaround of that fight from Budgeville Bushbashers. Falstad walked into the bush and got well and truly bashed because he just got deleted immediately. And so I thought that fight was already over for BBB, but what happened is...
Ming was suddenly deleted, and that is...
Yeah, Ming got deleted. The stage dive came in. Stukov survived by running it around in a circle through the bush again and again. Great bush bashing from him to avoid the Sonya kill. And so Sonya was just stuck chasing for ages. So really nice turnaround from them. And now of course that puts a lot of pressure on Southgate boys, who because of their early game giving up those shots, are down, and they lost the team fight in the triple phase, they're down to 8 points on the core. That's going to really put a lot of pressure on them when the next double altar phase comes up, because they can't afford to give up 2 altars ever again.
Artanis is starting to turn lethal now for any backline between Season Marksman, Triple Strike. Oh, there people win. That's all the disengage ults being used. And the Cleansing Flame too. But that is Flaming Swipe and what's his name again? Suppression Pulse down. ETC also uses W in there, but that's not my rogue, so who cares? And that is 2 ults for well, 2 because Raph was also popped in there. So that will put a lot less damage from the Sonya there. Muradin's found by the Malthael, takes a lot of damage from Malthael and Artanis, but ET also takes a lot of damage from Li Ming doing her thing. Artanis tries to do Artanis things, swaps onto Mr. Bot. She is in a lot of trouble now, but in the meanwhile, while people are chasing the Alexstrasza, as Kerrigan now goes in on the Malthael, there's a kill onto the ET, and that is Alexstrasza being killed by Malthael, but there's a kill in return. Nice stun there by Murdersacker, saving Li Ming probably. Oh, never mind. Li Ming teleports in. You shouldn't have done that. Can Carrots live? We'll have to see. The answer is no, and the Gust also saves. Probably saves Budgeville Bushbashers from having to lose their full stat as well. Sonya did try though to get the full stat back.
Yeah, Southgate boys will be able to take 2 altars with this, so that they'll breathe a sigh of relief there, because that puts them more back even on the points game. It's so unfortunate that Alexstrasza died there. She was only like 2 seconds away from being able to use her Dragon Queen, which would have saved her from the last rides. It would have, it would have completely turned the fight. But it was just 2 seconds away on cooldown. So
for those who don't know, Dragon Queen gives you iframes. So if you turn into Dragon Queen, you're temporarily off the map, as it were, which means that you can dodge things. It's not as, and the timing is not as forgiving as, say, a Phoenix Warp, but nor is it as bad as, say, trying to dodge a Pyroblast with Li Ming or Zeratul Blinks.
Yeah, I just noticed someone in the chat saying Muradin has very few Stormbolt hits. He's on 24 out of 25, so he only needs 1 more to complete his quest. Speaking of completing the quests, Alexstrasza's just finished her globe quest, which means she now generates those globes from the circle. I mean, that's good for any team with a high HP pool like this one, but it's especially good for Li Ming, who has Power Hungry at level 1, getting 10% spell power off those Alexstrasza globes as well. So we are seeing the kind of backup late game plan from Southgate Boys coming online. They're getting their stacks as well. It weren't just about this Kerrigan early game plan.
20's here, and we see Gus being used just to save, or attempt to save the fort. That's not going to work. 20's here, we have Repulsion, we have Blink, we have On Ruby Wings from the Alexstrasza. As Malfield, engage. This is not the engage you want to take, but Kerrigan drops very low. Murden completes Stormwall in there somewhere. Artanis is going on to everyone. Oops, that's a nice swipe there. And Sirin on the Sonya gets out barely. But nice. Now I see there's a kill onto the Li Ming, and that is going to be Southgate Boys retreating for now. However, they will be able to get at least one altar. Malfield now hits his 20, which means that he will immediately use No One Can Stop Death to buy back into the game. And is this going to be a trade? This should be a trade, and Sonya has to get out now. And this puts Lethal on the board against the Southgate Boys. However, boss is not up for 30 more seconds, at which point Li Ming and Kerrigan will probably be back enough for any boss attempt to start being very risky. Oh, I don't like this from the Southgate Boys.
Yeah, they have to keep an eye on this boss. The boss
have to keep an eye on the boss.
Maybe they haven't seen it back up in 5 seconds. If they're going to suddenly realize because the boss laughs when he spawns. As he just has.
Yeah, Budgeville knows they're going for it right now. Gust is up, and we see an immediate response from the Southgate Boys. They know that they have to go here, but do they have the time? We do not have Wind Tunnel, but a good Gust, there it is, and that's game. Southgate Boys, yeah, there we go. Too much disengage. Southgate Boys gets the win, or gets the loss, thanks to, well, I would say, a bit of a misplay at the end there. But congratulations to the Bush Bash, just because they had a really nice comeback into that game.
Yeah, well, with what we talked about, which is, that the late game value of the Kerrigan is not as big as the early game value. Early game, I have to say, Southgate Boys looked so dominant here. They were getting kill after kill. They were controlling the map, but they gave up so many altars in order to get the lead they had, that when they made one mistake around the 3 altar mark, and they lost a fight then, and they lost a lot of altars as well. That put them basically on a sort of losing territory on their points, because they went down to only 8 points, and so that made them struggle a lot from that point onwards. And as you say, you have to be aware of that boss. You just have to. When you're on 4 points, you have to be thinking about it all the time, thinking about the opponent's win conditions. And they just weren't fast enough to react. Maybe they didn't account for the Falstad having the gust. But I have to say, well played to Budgeville Bush Bashers for having the initiative to just go straight to that boss as soon as it spawned. They saw that Southgate Boys were at the bottom of the map, and they just went there and deleted it immediately.
Yeah, it was a really nice engage from the Bush Bashers as well. Deleting Kerrigan, showing the downside of an Alexstrasza healer, because she is a bit slow on the healing. It's predictive. You generally Kerrigan wants the heals now, because otherwise she gets deleted. We saw what happened. She wants an Ufra, she wants a Rhaegar. She can also work with like a Malf if the enemy, or a Stukov, or an Oriole for that matter. But she wants the heals now.
Yes, and I think it's something we talked about in the draft. It is a potential weakness of taking Alexstrasza with Kerrigan. I get the feeling. I mean, I don't know exactly, but Southgate Boys play so much Malfurion. I wonder if maybe they haven't practiced that much with other supports, and they weren't ready for playing with, they weren't ready for that Malfurion to be banned. And so great target banning there from Budgeville Bush Bashers to deny the Malfurion.
We'll have to see what will happen in game number 2, as Southgate boys have communicated that they want the first pick, not caring about the map that they are going to be taken to by the Budgeville Bush Bashers. What is their historical map pool?
Of Budgeville Bush Bashers.
Yes.
They picked a lot of different maps actually. Weirdly, they picked like pretty much everything, but their most common pick is Braxis Holdout,
Which is banned.
but we did see that get banned. So I'm not sure exactly where they will go with that. We might see. I don't know. We'd have to see what they're going to do, but we could potentially see an Infernal Shrines come out. They do like Infernal Shrines as well, but Infernal Shrines is Southgate Boys' favorite map as well. So they're probably going to be thinking a lot about this. Their most common maps were Braxis, which is banned, and Infernal Shrines, which is Southgate Boys' favorite map. So they've really got to think hard about this. And I think for people who they have picked Infernal Shrines, but yeah, for teams who are look, there's always a battle of ideas. There's a great battle of ideas in Heroes Lounge. Your team comes in with your own ideas. Maybe your idea is, we've got Kerrigan early game and we're going to dominate. But the opposing team has their own ideas, and you have to pit your ideas against your opponents, and you make the choice at some point. Do I care more about denying my opponents what they want to do, or do I want to just make sure I'm on my comforts? And here it seems Budgeville Bush Bashers have gone for their comfort. So the lobby we are going to Infernal Shrines for game number 2, and the lobby will be created shortly.
Infernal Shrines, that most common of maps. If you're talking about Kerrigan and Alexstrasza, well, either of them have seen play on this map in the past. Alex, this is probably one of her best maps. And Kerrigan, well, before, in the old days, before she got a Q nerf, she used to be pretty much unrivaled on the shrine because of the damage of her Q.
Yeah, she used to be able to just hip hop around, killing those minions and getting the shield up, which is good value. She's still really strong on this map, and I think I wouldn't be surprised to see a Kerrigan here as well. Let me sort the teams out.
I do agree that a Kerrigan could well come out here from Southgate Boys. I thought I clicked on the on the link there, but apparently I did not.
Well, you're here now, so
I'm here now. Yeah, we do
the
first
teams.
first pick going over to the Southgate Boys for this map as well. And well, will we see a repeat of the last game? Because this time you can't really rely on being able to work around the objective, I would say, because the objective is all about being in your face.
Yes, I think we might see from Southgate Boys is potentially another Alexstrasza. Alexstrasza makes a lot more sense on this map with that tight shrine that you have to fight over. So you can just force the fight on the shrine and use your Dragon Queen, win the objective, and you can't ignore it, as you were saying. So the teams are ready. We are going to go into the draft of game number 2.
Infernal Shrine.
I expect to see a Malfurion ban again, though. Having said that Alexstrasza would be good here, I still think if the teams have done their homework, as BBB have proven in game number 1 that they did, the Malfurion ban makes a lot of sense because it's something that Southgate Boys depend on so much. Similarly, we could see an ETC ban by Southgate Boys to deny, because we did see great stage dive value and just general good ETC play there. But no, it's the Garrosh ban. Surprising, because Garrosh, on this map is sometimes a little bit sorry, that's a little bit less strong than on some other maps, because the Kerrigan ban straight away.
Respect ban coming out. Budgeville Bush Bashers do not want a repeat of last game. And I can't blame them.
Yeah, I absolutely understand the Kerrigan ban here. When they've just seen great Kerrigan early game dominance from Southgate boys.
Have
we
you
talked
been
about Southgate
slacking,
boys.
by the way, Karis?
I think Death Knight wants me to fill in the team commentary document.
Team commentary. I thought it was the when to meet, but
No, I filled that. Because that's actually important. No, but
shots fired.
but what were we saying? We were saying about the draft. Here's the Malfurion coming from Southgate boys that we know they need. Well, not that they need, but they love to play that Malfurion.
Appropriate skin, by the way, for the map and for the side they're on. Lovely red for the demonic side.
Yes. Obviously, to them, they look blue when they're in the game. But for us, for viewers at home, it'll be red for.
Yeah, but
right.
it would still match their side of the map.
Yeah, because of the Hell versus Heaven theme of the map. Well, I still can't work out the symbols on Battlefield of Eternity. Actually, helpfully, we're not on there. But the angel and the demon ones.
The angel looks more like it has a halo, and the demon looks more like it has horns.
Yeah, but
I have been called out before. And we see Sonya ETC coming in from Budgeville Bush Bashes. That is a very solid front line. Picking the Sonya away, which is probably smart after the last game, because Sonya also did quite a bit of work in, getting stuns and deleting people.
Yeah, I again, it's the respect. It's the respect deny. Of course, Sonya is really good on the map as well, just to help clear the objective, get some, and just heal up while she's doing it. So she's.
Oh, there we go.
It is the Gul'dan, the Phonix Gul'dan, the legendary Phonix Gul'dan that viewers of last night's match of Oil Refinery versus Southgate boys saw. The horrify value in that game was immense. So, will we see that coming out here again? It's the Gul'dan, and also great for the objective with constant poke. But the horrify is what we're all excited about. Riskiwi of Oil Refinery is in fact in the Twitch audience right now, and ready to witness some of this Gul'dan. What is it? Apparently, there's olive oil memes in the chat, which I can definitely attribute to Lord Claude.
Mm-hmm.
Is he advertising olive oil in the chat? I'm not sure that's within the rules.
I'm not sure either. Can we get a mod in? Speaking of olive oil, if the moment someone said olive oil memes, I was more thinking about Popeye for a moment there, which my brain is weird. We do see a ban onto Leoric on the side of Budgeville Bush Bash, which makes a certain amount of sense. They've already got their front line, as Alex is banned on the other side. Budgeville Bush Bash have already got the front line. Southgate boys have already got their healer, so they ban out something the other guys don't yet have. That being said, Thrall is able to also do the solo duties quite admirably, although I would prefer it if he did not.
Well, Thrall solos come back a bit more in vogue since Crash Lightning was kind of nerfed a little bit because so it doesn't stack so quickly. And Echo of the Elements is still... Echo of the Elements is a really strong choice for Thrall now. And so he can get that stacked nicely in the solo lane as well. Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised to see the Thrall in the solo. What I don't know is what they're going to pick for their tank. Joanna would make a lot of sense for the map, for controlling the Sonya and the ETC. But some teams are not so comfortable with Joanna. Oh, the very annoying, the very annoying hero to play against is
the very annoying gnome.
The very annoying gnome. I feel like there should be an acronym there. VAG.
Lunara.
Yeah, it's Lunara. Oh, new Lunara, nice. But I'm disappointed there was no skin from the event. I don't know what that's called, but that's yeah, I know. I have the Carisha skin, I believe it is called.
one of the lot anyway. Before that, I was just playing Winterfell Lunara because summer event Winterfell Lunara. Sure. So, what would you
Joanna, as
like
we
to
said-
see from Budgeville Bush Bashers here?
Something to go in their rotation that will give them wave clear. I mean, Greymane is a sort of reasonable pick, a reasonable all-rounder. I mean, you see Greymane a lot. But, whoa. Tychus, that's slightly strange. We do know that Tychus is comfort for them, as I mentioned last game. But, I don't know. It's a bit strange into a soul tank Joanna comp. I don't know that he would get the value. Of course, Odin is still a massively impactful
I like
heroic,
it personally.
particularly for the objective. So they
I like
could get
it.
massive value.
Tychus into solo tank. For all things people often say, don't play Tychus into solo tank. I've never quite understood that. Because while you only have one target for your minigun, that means that one target is going to smart once the minigun gets turned on them. And then the front line is kind of gone for your enemy. So that's all fine, Danny. You do give up a bit of wave clear. I will admit that. But at the same time, Odin, as you said, is good for shrine control. And that should be able to secure some shrines post 10 once you have like 20-25 minions. Pop Odin and the enemy can't really fight into that. We are in the game now though, and on the right hand side we have the Southgate boys with the father-in-law on the Johanna, Trinon on the Lunara, Murdersacker on the on the Thrall, probably going to the offlane this time, Phonix on the Gul'dan, and last but not least, Mr. Botbot on the Malfurion.
And on the blue team, we have Spartinii on Sonya, Carrots on Tychus, Stigs on Stukov, Phenomenon on Chromie, and Symmetric on ETC, playing for the Budgeville Bush Bashers.
Phenomena.
And straight away ETC going to that bush to try and bash it, but he's actually bashed the Lunara Wisp instead.
I mean, bashing Lunar Wisp is an honorable tradition. Level 1s are here for everyone, of course. We do see Echo of the Elements, we see Echoed Corruption as well. It's all the standard talents, I would argue, around here, except for Tychus's, which is not exactly standard.
In the audience, we've got Halloween watching. Welcome, Halloween. How are you new here, given that you're a casting regular?
I'm not sure how that happened. I
But
mean,
he's new now,
it could just be Twitch being an absolute four-letter word, because Twitch has been known to be grieving as of late, so that could be the case. We do see the Southgate boys going for a rotational style, now picking up the siege camp in the meanwhile. I would love for Johanna to actually move down to soak the experience. There she goes. And we do see Fro and Sonya in the top lane. Sonya should have the better of that.
What I'd like to see from Southgate boys in these rotations is just taking advantage of the fact that they've got much better wave clear than Budgeville Bush Bashers do. So they could potentially just keep the rotations fast and really energetic. What they're actually doing is sending Lunara top, looking for this gank on Sonya. The dog's coming out from Thrall.
Slow coming in.
Poison.
This
Is it
isn't going
enough?
to be a kill, but this will force a tap or a back, either one. That's good. That's time well spent, especially because you don't lose anything and you give your solo laner a temporary advantage. Yeah, and we now see Spartini tapping, which is going to remove his tap from the altar, from the shrine phase, unless it goes long. As a reminder, all objectives generally spawn at 3 minutes, exceptions for, I believe, Draxis and Dragonchar in the current map pool. Tourism going on. Murdersacker being engaged on by Tychus. Lunara was also there. EC now somewhere in the middle. Gets rooted, uses W, gets his slide off. Lunara is chasing, but not going to do too much more. And we now have the first shrine spawning in the bot lane. Will be interesting to see if the solo laners actually join.
Yeah, I assume they will. It won't. I don't think it'll be like last game with the altars. Obviously, the shrine is very different from the altars on Towers of Doom. If I had to look at the comps and see who's got the better shrine fight, it's really hard to call it because obviously Gul'dan's really strong, Joanna's really strong for those objectives, but the Sonya spin to win in the objective and potential Chromie dunks onto that tight spot could get massive value.
Sonya isn't here yet, by the way. She was taking camp, fails to take the camp, oops, and now she has to back as we see a fight into the mid lane. Symmetry on the ET, dropping very low, gets a lot of poison done onto him. It's of course a poison comp on the side of Southgate Boiz, as we see Chromie pelting away from safety. Johanna, of course, not the best tank to engage into Chromie. ET's now back, having tapped. Gul'dan gets stunned out. Tychus goes in as well, but Phoenix takes the right way out, and we do now see Sonya coming in. Murdersacker is backing out as the last one on his team, and this should be Southgate Boiz getting it because that's 3 more. It's going to be hard for them not to get this. We do see Johanna going in. There's the mortar punch. ET goes out. Nice Dragon Grip there by Chromie, doing a lot of damage onto the Malfurion. Tychus overkilling his way out, and now we have a 4-man push in the bot lane. ET crucially not there, so no tank there. That's a nice corruption there from the Gul'dan, getting a couple more stacks as Southgate Boiz take this first objective and get probably what is expected value out of it.
Yeah, really good shrine control from them. I guess they knew that Sonya wasn't there. I mean, they couldn't actually see her on the map because she was, of course, far. But the fact they just pressed the objective. I have to say, Budgeville Bushbashers showed tenacity in actually engaging before Sonya was there, trying to just force Southgate Boiz off that objective. But they couldn't do it enough, and of course that just allowed Southgate Boiz to go and tap when the objective was on 37, come in safely and just take it with any of their spread damage, of which they have a great deal.
Oh, Chromie in a lot of trouble. That's a lot of poison going down onto her. Stuka's already popped his heal. This Chromie is dead, and that is first blood in the game, going over to Southgate Boiz yet again. Also, to everyone in the chat saying that there's not good camping on the side of Southgate Boiz, can I interest you in a heaping of Lunara level 4?
Why is Lunara's level 4?
Nature's culling.
Yeah. That's
Lunara's level 4 makes her a split push monster to a degree.
Yeah, but she could just she can either shred the camps or she can just shred the towers. Absolutely. What nailed it, says Halloween. Look at these casters getting the name right every time. Does he mean Budgeville Bushbashers?
You missed me mangling it at least 5 times in the first game, Halloween. We do see that there's a wisp here, and this means that there is a loop going down onto Thrall, but not great communication between Spartini and Phenomenon there. That could have been a kill onto the Thrall if Spartini had gone in. He didn't, so Thrall lives, and that's an ult down. Half a level lead, maybe a bit more for Southgate Boiz here, as we see Budgeville Bushbashers, ETC, and Stukov going up top, looking for ganks. Father-in-law, however, also has a mind of that and decides that, well, we should probably clear this camp here in top lane.
Yeah, well, Southgate Boiz are quite happy to just clear this because it's getting them closer and closer to 10. Of course, they have their own camp ready to push now. I'm surprised they didn't assist their camp pushing, but they want this 10. They've finally got it. Now they're looking for a fight. They're hungering for this fight. ETC knows there is, and he's sensibly backed away. Tychus has clocked on as well. He's gonna back out safely, assuming they don't catch him in the rotation. Oh, he's
now we see
far forward.
No engage here just yet. Lunara has picked Thornwood Vines. You can argue about that one. I like Leaping Strike as much as the next guy does. But crucial ult here. Earthquake. This forces fights so hard. This gives an engage if you flank. This allows for your opponents to not be able to disengage unless you use mobility like dash or power slide or flaming swipe to get it out. It's not flaming swipe this time, it is massive shove, and now we have a fight on the shrine. ETC moving in. It's leap Sonya, by the way, so look for Sonya. Odin being popped. That's it. Leap onto 3 people, but ET dropping very low. Twilight Dream going down. Earthquake going down. Sonya is in low trouble. She signs, and tries to get the Malfurion. 30 health for the Malfurion, but he dies. And now we do see Odin down, but Earthquake's up. Lunara using Form Vines to get a lot of damage onto people. And Stiggs on Stugo trying to heal everyone up. Malfurion, oh, there's a Gulan kill. I don't know. Is it? No, it's not. He didn't have a stun there, and we now see Stugo deporting Tigers as deporting Thrall as Tigers drops very low. That is probably more than Budge. You know what I mean. There's were liable to get away with there. But we do see that this Arcane Puncher is very likely to go over to the Southgate boys unless the Bush Bashers can now make a miracle happen. I don't think it's in the cards.
Yeah, so that's going to be a comfortable objective for them. But, I mean, that all came down to that that team fight. ETC he didn't get stunned for long in that team fight. He got slightly stunned, and the damage from Lunar and Gul'dan stacked on his health bar so much. He didn't die immediately because it's sustained damage, but there wasn't...
Speaking of dying...
Yeah, okay, so now he's died pretty comfortably. But we're looking for a flank here. Murdersacker's coming in with a dog on potentially 3 of them. It's a massive dog onto Chromie, and she's been absolutely deleted in the follow-up. Murdersacker's going a little bit low, but...
Defensively.
I've been here.
Nice fear, that is Stukov dying. Blessed Shield probably overkill. Either Blessed Shield or Horrify was overkill there, but that is another kill, and that is a fort, and that should be a very comfortable lead for Southgate boys. The question is, chat pointed out earlier that they're prone to throws. Can they avoid the throws?
Well, look, all teams make mistakes, and Southgate boys are no exception. But it depends on how comfortable your advantage is. If you're 4 levels ahead, with 3 forts up, for example, which they're not yet, but if they were, then it's quite difficult.
I have lost a game with 3 levels ahead recently in Hero League, just saying.
Well, those who saw the Forever Alones versus Heroes of Inclement Weather will remember TFA were 4 levels ahead in game 2, and we got...
I was casting at the same time, I believe.
Well, you missed out, but there was an epic comeback, although later I lost match. But... Yeah, I mean, look, in Heroes of the Storm, anything can happen. Games can swing so violently.
I'm fairly sure Froge isn't in the chat, but can someone say his motto in chat? Thank you. Damage, not a lot of damage going down in this game. Only Tigers on 21,000, but we do see one big number here for Southgate boys. That is their leftmost row in this nice little table. Deaths 0, 0, 0, 0, 0.
Yeah, it's been really good play from Southgate boys. This is what we saw in their oil refinery game last night as well. They're really good at these team fights, and they're looking for picks, controlling them out in terms of hero kills. And it's the same that happened last game, of course. I mean, think about how comfortably ahead they were in hero kills for most of last game, and it's only a few objectives that they lost on. So if they can just control the strategic side as well as these really nice hero kill rotations, then they'll be onto something very strong. Halloween pointing out Gareth Southgate going from a midfielder to becoming a striker. Those who don't know, Gareth Southgate is an English footballer and football manager, I should say, who to whom the team Southgate boys is, I guess, devoted or dedicated or something.
If I remember, they're yeah, oh no, wait. The strike through is on the other side. So yes, it's Gareth Southgate being memed on by the Southgate boys. I have no idea what he has done to warrant being a meme target, but you know, level 16 is now very nearly here for Southgate boys. I would love for them to now disengage, get the 16, and get some absolutely disgusting power spikes as Lunara gets her slow talent and Gul'dan gets his ruinous affliction. Does Lunara get the slow talent, however?
She hasn't picked yet. She's waiting. Ruinous affliction has come straight out. We do Thunderstorm coming out. presumably, it's surely got to be this.
It's got to be the slow, really. Imposing presence is also a nice pick. Murdersacker is an interesting position. Gets a nice route there on the EC. That's a mush pit. That's a mush pit being cancelled by Def. And now we do see Johanna just annoying everyone. Tychus is slowed, and we do still not have Lunara 16. Murdersacker gets absolutely murdered there by Sonya as Johanna goes in. Drops very low. Mafian trying to keep everyone alive. It's not the slow talent. Why is it not the slow talent?
Yeah, that's it's a little bit surprising. I'm surprised actually that team fight ended fairly evenly, given
this should not have been an even fight. Like Lunara gets her poison, and then the entirety of Budgeville Bushbite just start crying. Leap going down. There's also the spell shoot going down. Still does quite a bit of damage because I think she mistimed it. As we now see Sonya picking up the kill, but she is dropping very low. Sturkov can't heal her from that. And it is still Southgate's shrine as Tychus drops very low. But Mr. Bot is probably dead here. It took a while, but still dead. Itzy, no, Tychus looking for the Gul'dan kill, doesn't quite get it. And this Punisher is going to be cleared up fairly easily, I'd say, especially because the force is already dead. You have oodles of time before it even reaches anything that could be construed as annoying for your team.
Yeah, it's a little bit. Yeah, that's not gone well for Southgate.
I meant the poison slow talent.
Damage on
Thank
slow.
you, chat.
Yeah, the damage on slow, which is like when you have Thrall taking his slow at 16. You know, you've got slows.
You've got so many slows on your team. You've got Punish. You've got Punish. You've got Earthquake. You've got your own innate slows with your W. You've got Thunderstorm. You've got Malfurion roots because roots and stuns also trigger it. You've got so many ways of triggering that talent. Earthquake plus Lunara 16 is. It's painful to play into. Agonizing.
Yeah, it could have done so much damage. But instead we're seeing more range, which I guess the idea is just to
Earthquake being used. Tychus. That's an interesting Odin. That's a dead Tychus. Earthquake had to be popped for that, but that's probably fine considering Odin was traded out for it. So now AC gets out because, of course, he has his trusty old W.
Yeah, so he'll.
Lunara, in the meanwhile, is making at least some use out of that increased range, as Swazzini is taking quite a bit of damage from Lunara just poking and vining and prodding away.
Yeah, I don't know what exactly Southgate Boys can do with this advantage though from the Tychus kill. I think they've got towers mid. I think, to be honest, that's all they can do, and they should start thinking about defending their top lane because there is a bruiser camp knocking on the door of their fort.
Anton
maybe getting their own bruiser camp as well.
Pointing out that before the rework, this was a standard 16. That's true. As we now see, Budgeville Bushbash is going in and trying to get engaged, but Murdersacker has something to say about that. Specifically, he has something to say about Sonya trying to go in and, well, decides that shocking her is the best course of action. Dismounting her, and now we see an invade. This is always risky, but there's Thrall in an interesting position. He is going to surely die here, as we do see. Is he going? Oh my goodness, that fear is gorgeous. Leap going on to the backline. 3 people. EC looks, but there's a nice Twilight Dream also on the 3 people. Thrall is absolutely murdering the front line as we see Sonya being murdered in the backline. Thrall does die, but he does get Earthquake off, and now Lunara is looking to clean up house. Chromie uses timeout to, well, save herself temporarily. Tychus dies, getting some nice value out of that 16 and something else. And that's a full team wipe, and just take the keep now.
We'd written the obituary for Thrall. We'd arranged with the Undertaker to get rid of his corpse, except he was saved by this insane horrify from Phonics.
Also, Gul'dan on a keep, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, this keep's just been shredded with Lunara as well with the level 4.
Yeah, and now you leave, and this is a slow, agonizing death for the Force.
Yeah, but wow, what a turnaround for that fight. I mean, it has to be, the credit has to go ultimately. Okay, Troll did really well to stay alive once he got stuck in the thick of it. But the credit has to go ultimately to that Horrify from Gul'dan.
Horrify was huge, splitting the team. Sonya got a nice leap, but turns out leaping onto 3 people isn't enough if you don't have the kill pressure. And the main kill target in there is Lunara. I think she also had her spell shield up. As we now see 18 minions and 20 for Southgate Boiz. Look for them to fight. Although Earthquake is still down, Earthen Shields will be a game changer. The leap goes down. Malfurion dropping extremely low. Fear going down. The EC also drops there. As we see Blessed Shield missing. Tiger's dropping Odin. There's Murdersaka being looped. But now he is back into the face of Tigers. Tigers is going to fall here probably. Stiggs also dies on the Stukov. Sonya is trying to spin to win against 2 orcs. Doesn't quite get it. Tigers now finally drops. And that is a 4-for-1. Can they core? I'm not so sure. You don't have your healer.
They don't have a healer, that's the problem. Of course, the Naked Culling would delete it, but
I think just take the fort here, take the shrine, wait for Malfurion to get back up because you still have 20, and just Chromie's going to have to abandon her position soon unless someone else is going to pick up the mid. Just I think Punisher is the right call here because they were all so very low, right?
yeah,
Like Lunara has like 20% health, if that.
Of course, they have great siege potential with that Lunara Lynch's Culling, but I just think, yeah, with no Malfurion, they couldn't really push so easily. They're going to take the Bruce camp as
They're
well.
now taking the camp because they can. Like that's a good way of passing the time while the Punisher makes his way down. That's going to add a bit more to this push. We see Murdersaka already opening up a side wall. Always a good idea to do so you can counter engage. EC, Thrall goes in. EC is now rejoining. He was clearing up things in the mid lane. Thrall's very deep though. He's taking a lot of damage. He's being looped here. Johanna goes in. Mosh goes down. There's a nice Earthen Shields Earthquake there though, saving a lot of damage. Lunara gets deleted though, but now we do see Gul'dan cleaning up house. Fear goes down. Sonya is trying to get and does get Malfurion. Will the keep live? No, it will not. But will Southgate Boiz be able to live here as Murden Johanna is so very low. She's being chased by Sonya and
indestructible though.
EC, but now EC fell back and now indestructible. Oops, suddenly the tables have turned.
Look at Murdersaka still going in the mid.
Murdersaka still going. That's slows for days. Stiggs gets out by the skin of his arm, I suppose. And now we do have 3 capitals on core. This is going to be game over, and that is game number 2 going over to Southgate Boiz. Very well played by them, I have to say.
Yeah, again, great team fighting. Great. They finally turned those picks. They've been getting the picks consistently throughout those 2 games. And look at 20 kills to 7 at the end. Absolutely outstanding play from them, but they finally managed to turn those kills into a strategic victory. It was a little bit strange that Budgeville Bushbashers decided to contest that shrine when they were 18 versus 20, but actually, at the end of the day, the winning team fights came down to insanely good Phonics Gul'dan play. So MVP Gul'dan for me, but well played to all of them.
Yeah, as people in chat are pointing out, Kerrigan, last game's Kerrigan was Murdersaka, who was now playing the equally smork Thrall, it has to be said.
Yeah, well, the Thrall value was also great. I mean, these of course, Thrall level 20, those Earthen Shields, it's just an insanely strong ultimate at 20.
But the shields, it's 45% of your health being shielded over 9 seconds. That's ludicrous.
I like the Budgeville Bushbashers try to take the fight to them and they try to dive those more vulnerable backliners like Malfurion. We saw really good leap engages from Sonya, so credit to them. But at the end of the day, it just wasn't enough to deal with just insane damage from Thrall and Gul'dan.
Yeah, and now I would have to say that there's another respect band possibly in the cards for the Budgeville Bushbashers. I would not want to play that Gul'dan again.
Yeah, I mean, I thought they should have considered it from the start, or Malfurion. We did see good Malfurion value. I wonder if the teams are actually going to. Yeah, we're still waiting on. When I see the name BBB, I keep wanting to say Battle Beast Boys, which is another team with the same initials, but of course they're a Division 1 team. But this is Budgeville Bush Bashers versus Southgate Boys, going to game number 3. But Budgeville Bush Bashers have chosen to get map pick, and they're going to say very soon what map that is. Sky Temple. Sky Temple. So we're going to go.
That is one way of reducing the cooldown value, I suppose. Because if I look at Sky Temple, it's a mid-game map. Like Braxis is early game, like draft the early game on Braxis. Sky Temple is mid-game. Often by the time you get to the power spike for Gul'dan is level 16, the game is, I won't say it's always over, but there's a good amount of games that are effectively over, barring clowns at that point, because of the way the map is laid out. So you want early to mid-game heroes on this map. Also, which is probably not the reason why people in Hero League delight in picking Nazebo on this map in first pick every single time I'm in Hero League. Sorry, I have minor
Not even slightly
PTSD.
salty. Yeah, there are a lot of ways to play the map, though.
Wait, washing machine was played? The washing machine was played? I have a match to watch in the end after this, I suppose.
Which match was that?
Well, washing machine played on the other channel, and they apparently played the washing machine. What I'm hearing in chat.
Did they win with it? That's the question.
That's what they. I believe the Dylan's also on the washing machine's team. So.
Yeah. We're still waiting for one member of Budgeville Bush Bashers to show up. But I don't know who it is because
just waiting as Sky Temple Sky Temple music is playing in the background. This may or may not have griefed me in the past when I thought it was Tomb of the Spider Queen and I drafted for it, and then we have Sky Temple pop up on my screen. If there's any motto in that story, kids, look at the top of the screen whenever you're in draft.
Okay, we're just waiting for the teams to declare themselves ready, and then we'll be ready to go on game number 3. Yeah, like I was saying, there are a few ways you can play. Okay, they might be doing a sub. What?
There's apparently some toilet breaks needed, which is of course fine. Also, if I'll give you half points for that team washing machine if you drafted it, but didn't actually get to use it because it's now 20. So yeah.
Look, I respect any team who picks Chen in any circumstances.
He needs nerfs though.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's as known by the team name. But Chen's not visible on the stream. Okay, that's probably for the best. Okay, so we're just while the teams have a toilet break, we can sort of review the situation. This is game number 3 of 3 for the Cup Group C match between Budgeville Bush Bashers and Southgate Boys, the team devoted to Gareth Southgate. Potentially, there could be an upset here because Southgate Boys are the Division 5 team coming into this coming into this potentially as the underdog against the Division 4 team, which is Budgeville Bushbashers. Maybe we've seen upsets already in this group. Literally anything can happen in this cup, to be honest. And I'm excited to go into this game as soon as the teams actually come back from the toilet. I think, look, if Southgate Boiz lose this, they're gonna feel really under pressure, because then their next match will be against the Division 3 team of Overshadow. Okay, it looks like the teams are finally ready. So let's begin the draft. And if Budgeville Bushbashers win this, they're gonna be assured of their place in the at least one of the bracket stages, which are occurring on the 8th and 9th of June, or 9th and 10th.
9th and 10th of June, aka next week.
Yes, next weekend, whenever next weekend is that. I mean, right, we're into the draft. Garrosh banned immediately. No hesitation.
Southgate Boiz sticking to their guns, or their dislike of being thrown.
Yes, they don't want to be split in half by Gorhal.
Or a chair.
Oh yeah, or a chair. Yeah. I thought you said or Chen for a second. I was like, what?
No,
But
that's just you
Everyone
hearing
wants
what you want to hear.
Yeah, I want to see a Chen pick first, and I will immediately award points to that team.
We do
Are we
see.
going to bet for this game? Possibly. That's what the team was asking me to chat.
Betting's not online enough for Channel 3, which is sad, as we still see a Gul'dan come out in first pick. It served him well last game, even though it's not the best map for a Gul'dan. I mean, with horrifies like those, you can overcome a lot of things.
Yeah, great Gul'dan play from Phonics. We might see that again. It depends, as you say, the map could be played differently. You can just play this as a push map. You don't have to have those fights. Structural advantage is everything on this map. If you're 2 forts up, it's like you can just give up 2 objectives effectively. You need structural advantage. You need pushing, or you need to win temples very comfortably. Possibly sometimes we see an Abatha, because the mule can heal the damage done by the objective as well, and offer a little bit of push value when people are on the temples.
That's an Ufer. That's a very early Ufer with a Gul'dan on the enemy team.
Very strange. I wonder if we're going to see something a little bit niche.
I'm smelling a draft which might involve the Abatha.
I wouldn't be surprised to see an Abatha or a second support on the side of Budgeville Bushbashers here. It would be strange to have Uther sole support against Gul'dan.
Especially with the Johanna, because
The hunt is
Johanna is pretty bad at doing hard engaging. Which is what you want when you have an Ufer comp.
Yeah, you don't want to
Especially
be waiting
versus
around
Gul'dan.
to get
You can't wait out any longer. You have to go, and Johanna's engage is, shall we say, anemic?
I think it must be a bait, because look, the Lunaras come straight out from Southgate Boiz, as you would expect, that that great
So,
sustained
what's the
damage over
bait
time
here?
that Uther can't handle.
Alex being banned out. There is, of course, the Sonya. I'm going to ruin your face combo.
It might be Falling Sword Joanna as well. Have you considered that?
Falling Sword has a good slow, but it has absolutely terrible damage these days.
Yeah, but for the just engage recklessly with a Sonya as well, and I don't know. They've got to try something.
Never
But the
mind on the
Sonya's been
Sonya.
banned. Yeah, absolutely great target ban from.
Have the Bushbashers played the Bushmaster, not the Bushmaster, that's the Haka, sorry. The secondary Bushmaster, Abatha, all season?
I don't know, but I will look up the statistics as soon as I can. But in the meantime, let's see what they pick.
It will be interesting to see what direction Budgeville Bushbashers give to their draft now. We have a low engaged tank in Johanna. We have a healer that wants to hard engage in Uther. You don't want to stay in poke style comps with Uther unless you are really good, or you have something to augment his weak point.
They've never played Abathur. I don't think it's going to be Abathur. I think it could be just another support. Asmodan they have played 4 times. It's macro. It's full macro.
This is full macro. But this is demonic invasion. Is this demonic invasion, Asmodan?
I'll have to check their record, but it's hard to find. But I don't know. But whether it's demonic invasion or not, it's going to be. You don't think they're going to do anything absolutely crazy and bring out a Morales last pick to you?
That would. No, if you want Juice Pirates, you don't want Uther false. You don't want Uther.
No, yeah.
Like your core damage is now, your siege damage is now suspect. That being said, I do like the Dahaka quite a bit.
Absolutely, yeah.
I adore Dahaka in this situation. Counter global, pretty good at clearing up waves. He's probably going to just be a vacuum this game. Rhaegar's probably the healer I would pick here. Oriel's also an option, but Oriel's.
Cheers, love. The cavalry's here.
What is going on in this draft? This is really interesting play from Budgeville Bushbashers. They're not trying to play game number 3 in an orthodox manner. They're trying to whip out something completely exotic.
This is this reminds me of just going chaos comp, going full QM, because what's the direction of your draft if you're the Budgeville Bushbashers here? You have the hard engage Uther, then the barely any engage Johanna. There's also a role swap there going on, by the way, because it's now symmetric on the Uther. You have the macro Fulstad and the macro Asmondan. Well, Fulstad did go for W build in game 1, so there's that. And there's macro Asmondan, and then there's blows shit up Tracer. What is this?
It's very interesting, is what it is. I think that the hacker pick from Murdersaka was absolutely right. Let's see if he can respond as we go into the deciding game in its best of 3.
Would you introduce the team on the left?
If you wish to live.
And the team on the left would be Budgeville Bushbashers with Spartinii on Tracer, Symmetric on Uther, Stigs on Asmodan, Carrots on Johanna, and Phenomenon on Falstad.
Here's a Phenomenon on Falstad, and on the right hand side we see Southgate Boiz with Murdersaka waddling away on the Dahaka, Trinon prancing away on the Lunara, but Mr. Botbot kindling it out on the Rhaegar, Phonix corrupting everything on the Gul'dan, and the father-in-law hammering people as Muradin.
It is Sieging Wrath for Asmodan. It's not going to be laser into Demonic Invasion. It could potentially still be, dunks into Demonic Invasion. I wouldn't be surprised to see Ban Minion at 7. Yeah. Sieging Wrath's fairly orthodox. Falstad went for auto attack, Season Marksman.
That is a more macro talent, I'd say. Although this time there's no Kerrigan. As we see Johanna going in and getting a lot of damage done onto her, but there's a nice little. She does get out. There's healing, there's Iron Skin. On level 1, we do also see Hammer of the Lightbringer for Uther. Makes a certain amount of sense. There's always something to hammer. Makes little sense because versus double poison, stacking your silver touch is literally as easy as pressing W and Q a couple times.
Yeah. We do a potential idea from Kratadel in the chat saying maybe their plan is to go for Asmodan Dunk plus Tracer Bomb plus Hinterland Blast and just have some kind of long-range artillery delete of a single target.
If you want artillery, pick the Chromie.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit...
Or pick the hammer. If you want literal artillery.
To me, it's clear that they want this macro value from Asmodan. Maybe Demonic Invasion is the better way to use that than the Blackpool. Although, of course,
I think it should be Demonic Invasion, but I'm not sure it will be. Also considering Tracer and as the hacker is being ganked in, is being attacked in mid. That's Pop Possessors, it's full fine.
There's a brawl kicking off around this siege camp in the bottom left.
Asmodan isn't here, but that doesn't stop Murden from flying all the way across the screen. Oops. Where's blood? For once, going over to Budgeville Bush Bashers. Ooh, there's my lag spike.
I like this idea from Budgeville Bush Bashers to just bring out something completely unorthodox. What we saw in games 1 and 2 from Southgate Boiz is that they play really well in the sort of normal circumstances of coordinated early rotations and ganks. By making it a macro game and just throwing in total chaos.
Oh. Lunara failed to check a bush. Oh my goodness.
The recall a second too early.
She
Will Asmodan
should
have the
have
good
lit.
time?
Nice adjustment there on the back, knowing that this little triangle between tower, fort, and well, is where people generally back, which means it's also generally the target where Asmodan's going to throw his globe.
Yeah, great awareness there from Lunara to avoid getting dunked. But I think we're going to see a lot more of this tracer rotation aggression. But like I
It
say,
has to be like that's the way you gain value on your tracer. We do see a trade coming out as Southgate Boiz did get a bruiser camp to push along with in top, which is going to do a lot of damage alongside, and Asmodan is having to retreat as Lunara is just pelting away. We now see Spartini on the tracer joining in top. Ufer has completed this quest, and now we do have a small lead for Budgeville Bush Bashers, but Asmodan and Tracer are both half health. And while Tracer gets healed up by one Ufer Q, basically, Asmodan not so lucky. Father-in-law is dropping on the Murden. He has to jump out basically now. He gets stunned, he gets bombed, he gets deleted. But we do have a drag onto Ufer. There's a full set flying in. The hack is also here now. Phonex dropping very low, gets killed. But Ufer also does. That's not too bad. Like, Ufer dying is what you want. If you're the Ufer team, Murder Sacker pops his essence, Trinon on Lunara gets away. And now we see Budgeville Bush Bashers taking a solid lead into this game, making their, shall we say, unorthodox comp work.
Yeah, they've played this really well so far. I liked, in particular, the little touch I liked was Asmodan body blocking to try and keep Uther alive for as long as possible. This body blocking with the hacker, you know, when your tank's not there, as you're an Asmodan.
I mean, he has more health than I think everyone except Cho'Gall and full health Diablo.
Yes, and
Stitches
Avatar
maybe.
Mioden. Stitches, yeah, and Stitches and Avatar Mioden, yeah. But it's a lot of HP.
He has a ton of health.
And he's got a very wide girth, we might say. So he can body block fairly easily.
He's not Gary Oak, is he?
Why would Gary Oak? I don't know the meme.
That's an old one. Look it up. We do see level 9s are here for Budgeville Bush Bashers, and we have Asmodan halfway on his Q quest, as is the hacker on his tissue regen, but Gul'dan's not having a lot of these echo corruptions, even only on 12 stacks. Pretty bad 5 minutes in.
Well,
Never mind that, that's a couple hits in. 14.
It's not been so structured team fight, but like I say, Budgeville Bush Bashers are really throwing Southgate Boiz out of their comfort zone here, and it's showing. That's why Phonics isn't getting stacks on the Gul'dan. And in the meantime, we are going to see more and more pushing. We talked about in the draft that the Sky Temple is a sort of mid-game spike map, and Asmodan is exactly that. Asmodan is very much a mid-game hero, with Sieging Off in particular.
I mean, he's also pretty good late game when fights go long, and then you have fourth recruitment on 20. But yes, his power is mostly, I would say he has a big power in basically the 10-13 window, when all this poke you can do with Blackpool is really effective.
Yes, absolutely. Assuming he can get stacked. He's still
Murden is way too deep here, I would say. Rhaegar drops the chain heal. Avatar is here. Is it being used? Murden is adventuring. I'm not sure you can. Falling Sword goes down. Divine Shield goes down as well. Phonics dropping very low. Yeah, Horrify. There it is, but nice. Iron Skin there. Phenomenal dropping very low. Hinterland's being interrupted. father-in-law on the Muradin. Now avataring away. The Haka getting a nice drag onto Tracer. Muradin now being lasered by the Asmodan, and we do see that's a triple, I think, by Yasma. We do see that Southgate boys are disengaging, giving this shrine over for now to Budgeville Bushbashers.
Yeah, a lot of Budgeville Bushbashers survived on about 10% HP there. It was a really nice Divine Shield from Uther on himself to survive. A really nice recall from Tracer just to avoid dying. But that fight could easily have gone the other way. But I think maybe once Gul'dan and Lunara get their power spikes a little bit later in the game,
Well, they have the
those
time.
fights won't go so favorably.
We do have a 3v2 here. Oh, the Haka goes in, gets the isolation, but doesn't get the drag thanks to a nice condemn. That is Carrots saving Uther from certain death there, and also kind of wasting the isolation.
Wow, this
Also
is a really...
now in the top lane because the Haka uses global, which means that Frostad's going to get some free push here in top. And every structure you take down here is health that the temples don't have to shoot.
Yeah, it's like I was saying in the draft. Structural advantage on this map is everything. The objective only shoots at the forwardmost structure. So right now, I mean, on the side of Budgeville Bushbashers, they've still got three forts up, and one on low health, of course, but two of them are fully intact. So even if they were to just give up a temple completely, they'd still be structurally ahead. And I think that's going to start to really pay in the next temple phase, which is 2 temples, because they can just trade now they're ahead structurally, they can just trade temples anytime they like. The Asmodan and Falstad split push is going to start grinding down as well, and they can effectively just avoid any kind of risk by not confronting Southgate boys at all, just trading when they can.
But we do have, of course, the Haka who can force engage with a nice brush talk. We have Muradin, who's pretty good and hard engaging, and we do have Southgate boys probably getting 13 before the next shrine phase will be up. Look for them to make a fight happen. If they win a fight, which is possible, by say 2 people more than the enemy, they will be able to equalize and probably take a lead in the experience thanks to a tiny bit of combat XP, and of course, well, structure. If you're equal in experience but behind on structures, then any structure you take is, well, good. We do see them looking for this fight.
They want to. Well, of course, they can't just trade because, as we said, that's they're already behind the structures. So, and of course, they have the Haka ability to come in when the fight actually starts.
Haka burrowed.
Here he comes
Tracer
now.
is very deep. Lunara dropping very low. Bomb doesn't hit Lunara though. Falling sword goes down. Muradin is very deep. Ancestral is already being used on Lunara. Muradin is dropping very low, only on 600 health. Does get a heal off, and now the Haka is trying to survive. Muradin lives on 150 health. Carrots is chasing Phonix, as we now see Phonix full. Muradin drops in. That's a nice cleanse, making sure that there is no real danger of anything happening. And now Muradin falls. There's a Divine Shield on Johanna. When we see more deaths, Murdersacker is trying to get out, but there's a Tracer on his arse, and that is going to be a dead Yoshi.
Wow. What Budgeville Bushbashers are showing in this game is they really know how to fight, even with an unorthodox comp like this. Just like the amount of times they're falling low, and everyone is staying alive, because especially against such heavy poke damage. The difficulty Southgate boys have is they went Gul'dan and Lunara for this heavy poke kind of comp. But then they're structurally behind, and so they want to force fights. They can't just wait around and just poke gently. They're trying to hard engage with the Haka and the Muradin going in.
Is the boss is being snuffed out, and Southgate boys are there in time, and they are so low. All of the Budgeville Bushbashers and the Southgate boys take the boss, get the Johanna kill. Murdersacker drops very low, has his essence up, and we now see father-in-law chasing, getting us down onto the Yasmin. Boss is also there, trying on slowing everyone around. That's a entirely miss Hinterland Blast. And now we do see Southgate Boys looking to advance here. I would go in hard if I were them, because this boss is going to keep out. Hang on, that's Lunara dropping extremely low. That's a dead Lunara. Ancestral. Probably just off cooldown. Now, way too late. The hacker does get Temple, but there's one there. No, that's a big minion wave in top. That should take down top Temple as well. Or not as Asmon has anything to say about that. And
Yeah, I think Faust and Asmodan will clear
oh,
that.
the hacker left just a bit too early.
Yeah, I think he feared for his life, but probably he could have got those last 5 shots. I mean, great invade from Southgate Boys. Look, you have to commend them for their tenacity here. They've come into this match the underdog, and they've just walked into an enemy boss pit, knowing they were a talent bound, and just wanting to take a fight, and they've done it, and they've won the boss. But this is what we're talking about, the structural deficit is still there.
However,
they're still 3 forts down.
However, the moment that there's one fight won, and they can do that, definitely with 16s now here, we do see unfair advantage this time. Why this game and not last game? The moment they win a fight, the moment they get any temple, all these forts are dead. All of them. There's not, they're like you don't even need a full temple, you need half a temple. All these forts are dead.
Yeah, it's so much XP in the bank that like they're just waiting.
I think it's close to a level in bank, like or half a level.
And
even
that
at
could
this
immediately flip the game. But in order to do that, they have to win a fight.
There's an engage onto Hannah, but Muradin misses. Jump is now out, and that's the Battleborn warriors doing their job to annoy people and dissuade them from mounting. Probably the best use of that talent.
Yeah, I mean, I love that level 16 talent. Get
To
the
be
boys
entirely
going.
fair, it's also by far the best, because as of now 16s are fairly weak.
Yeah. But it's again, like I was saying, but they're trying to hard engage, but they've built for a poke comp. The
hacker in the backline dropping very low, gets a stun, a nice one onto Asmodan. But now there's a fear going down. That's a double man Hinterland Blast. Mr. Botbot is being engaged on by the Tracer, who gets every. Ancestral has been used on the Gul'dan. Father-in-law is trying to survive. Can he survive? Divine Shield goes down onto the Rihanna, saving her life. Murdersack is dropping very low on the Daka. Trace is probably going to kill her. I don't know. Yes, that's a dead Daka. And everyone on the side of Budgeville are low. But they do not have the killing potential the Southgate Boys do.
Yeah, I don't know what they can do. They're really
and it's only a single temple spawn now. If it had been a double, they might have been able to get some experience to get them 20 before the next objective phase. As it stands, it's going to be very hard. Luckily, they do have one global, which means that losing one lane isn't the end of the world.
Yeah, but you still do not want to be a keep down against an Asmodan with his generals.
Phonics drop is in a very bad spot. He's getting pulse bomb. He's getting killed. That is not what you want to see. That might be the deciding clown. Although boss isn't up for a minute, so there is that at least. 20s are now here. Full start picking. Interestingly, Nexus Frenzy.
Stolen enough of my temple's power. Turn to your
I think that's fair enough because he's got a full auto attack build, so he's just going to get even more value.
I
It's
don't
the
like
attack
it.
speed because it means he can melt that Muradin with the giant killer.
I don't like it. I prefer Epic Mount or in 99% of the situation. I forget what the it's called the Wildhammer. I forget what it does.
Yeah, it's
we
just
now
more
see
range and damage.
what?
It's just more range and damage on Call of the Wild.
I mean,
I
that's
don't think it's
fine.
good.
This is now an issue because 20 does mean that the Budgeville Bushbashers were able to take the keep without any contest. Of course, Gul'dan being down didn't help, but even without that, that's still an issue. As we now see the hacker trying to get this fort, but the full stat is there and says, no, you're not taking this fort.
Yeah,
It's
that's
been
where
a
the
game of
epic mount would be
almost
used.
for them, hasn't it?
Yeah, they still haven't got a single fort.
I
don't know what
think
they
you
can
have
do.
to do a Hail Mary boss play here. As the Southgate boys try to get someone. Is it the hacker goes in, we do not. We do have good stuff. Isolation misses, and we now see a three-man Hinsel blast. That's a dead Dahaka. Ufa is looking to die. He doesn't mind, and this is going to probably be game, as this is 4 people down, and Ufa is going to return because it is redemption Ufa. That is 5 men down, and you can just core here. They're taking the boss. Don't. Just core. Just end. Go.
Yes, I mean, it's game either way. But, yeah.
This is the faster. Always close out the games as fast as you can. If nothing else, it reduces the chance of any clown happening.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good practice.
Yes, and this is game number 3, as you say, and the series going to Budgeville Bushbashers. But, I mean, wow, I mean, what? You have to say, what an unbelievable series.
They were pushed to the limit.
Yeah, they did. This was not comfortable for them at all. I think the Southgate boys should definitely be proud of their performance in both games 1 and 2. Here it felt they cracked a little bit under the pressure of what has to be a very surprising comp for them to deal with. They won't have practiced against, an Asmodan, Falstad, Tracer, Uther, Joanna. So it's going to be a surprising comp for them to deal with, and I think they didn't.
I think we should ask them about that comp in the winners interview. Should we have one?
Absolutely, we should, and see what Budgeville have to say.
Well, they say sure thing. Interview room. I should probably switch over to the main screen. There we go. You saw some nice stats. And I should also update the score. Congratulations to the Budgeville Bushbashers, as they have won 2 games to 1. And, well, it's Southgate boys losing for the second time 2 games to 1 versus a Division 4 team. Close, but no cigar.
Yeah, they should. The Southgate boys really showed potential. But let's head over to the interview room and chat with some members of Budgeville Bushbashers.
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Hello. Hi there, Paris. Thank you for joining too.
Hello.
Who are we speaking to from the Budgeville Bushbashers?
I don't know if you remember me, Duke Buster from a couple games back. I played for the BBB a couple games ago as a Kelthus. As one of the games was Kelthus. I don't know if you remember or not. However, today I'm serving as their manager. So I just came to give a quick analysis of their performance.
Will there be roasting?
Sorry?
Will there be roasting?
Depends.
Anyway,
probably not.
Congratulations with a win.
Thank you very much.
It was very hard fought, I would have to say.
Yep.
So you probably saw game 1, I would assume, otherwise you're not here.
Okay.
The Kerrigan comp.
Yeah.
That did not look good for you in the early game.
I think it was a mixture of unsettled minds and a bit of pressure building up within the camp. I think that we started off in that game with a bit of timidness, and we saw how it got us. However, it was all good in the end.
It was indeed good in the end, although I would have to say that there were also some clowns going on by Southgate boys. Would you what was the moment where you thought, well, this looks very winnable for the Budgeville Bushbashers?
From the very start, to be honest with you, I had no shiver or doubt within my mind that my boys would impress tonight. We took training incredibly seriously. We were even training up yesterday till maybe about 3 a.m. in the morning, analyzing the moves of our opponents and finding out how we could counter and play to our advantage.
Well then, Karis, do you have anything to add here?
Yeah, tell us about Asmodan and Falstad and playing the map. And...
Oh, okay. Well, we at Budgeville Bush Bashers believe that Heroes of the Storm is an art and it should be played as one. So we like to mix our play with delicacy when it comes to clearing the lane efficiently, as well as ruthlessness in the team fight. So the way we functioned towards that last game was we allowed the fast tat to build up his stacks, and same with our friend at the back as well, the specialist. So Asmodan, and in the end, it was too much. We put in the pressure in the right places. Our Uther allowed our team to sustain more with the resurrection towards the end, and we took the fights in the correct stances. Any shortcomings at the start of the game, we took care of as the game went on, and ultimately we led to victory.
Well, a very managerial analysis there. Very cautious. I would have to say thank you, Dukebuster, for the interview, and congratulations for making it to the final weekend.
Thank you very much.
Can I ask one final question, which is, what is your view on Gareth Southgate?
I'm an Arsenal fan, so I'm not happy with the Wilshere situation. And also I'm not English, so I don't really support England, but I wish him all the best.
Okay. Oh, thanks for the interview. And,
thank you very much. See you later.
Speak to you soon.
Well then, that was interesting. I'm not sure what we did to deserve being beamed on like this. But it happens apparently. I suppose I should have expected something of this kind, but I was expecting a managerial meme to come from the other side had they won.
Yeah, I don't know. It's this was an interesting turn of events.
That's a good way of putting it.
We've survived. As for the teams, I mean, we have to say BBB did do really well, and so they've earned their right
to meme about ice.
Yeah,
I suppose that's fine.
I have to say, yeah. I mean, they did pull out, a niche comp in game number 3 and surprised everybody and executed really well. Yeah, exactly. And I think Southgate boys got caught with their trousers down a little bit by the surprise pick. So great play to BBB. It has to be said. The tracer play was, really, really phenomenal. I've heard from the Riskiwi in chat that this tracer, playing tracer, the tracer player for Budgeville Bush Bashers is really strong, and it's a really good comfort pick for them. And they've single-handedly won games like that. So it's not so surprising to see that. But well played to all of them. Really, really good play.
It was really good play. I'm just checking the stats of last game one time. Tracer got 10 kills. I mean, if you get 10 killing blows, that Tracer, you're generally doing your job.
Yeah. But I have to say also credit the Southgate boys for putting up an incredible fight. I mean, this is a Division 5 team who's shown significant promise, particularly in their team fighting skills and in their ability to find ganks on the map. Like in games 1 and 2, they just absolutely controlled the map with ganks, and turned that into a victory in game number 2. And I think if they can just tighten that up a little bit more, then they can absolutely go further next season. And potentially in the Cup, of course, because they still have one match left against Overshadow.
I would have to say that if Towers of Doom wasn't the first map, if it had been any other map, then I don't think they could have gotten away with it, winning game 1 as they did.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Well, I mean, and it was only that sort of one misstep. Well, maybe a couple of missteps from from the Southgate boys that cost them that game. Otherwise, they were dominating. As you say, if it was a different map, that to me that shows maybe some insight from Budgeville Bushbashers to pick Towers of Doom and play a little bit more cautiously, because of course you can't get snowballed on towers. If that was Tomb of the Spider Queen, you're absolutely right. I mean,
you'd be dead.
Southgate boys would have won that so comfortably. But of course, that's part of the game, is picking the maps, playing around the maps, playing your strengths. And overall, that worked in Budgeville's favour over the course of 3 games.
But as we make an end to this cast, do you have anything you want to shout out, say, or do anything else, Cars?
Well, people who've enjoyed this Group C Cup action should check back tomorrow at 19 hours when we have another Group C game, this time between the other two teams in the Group C, which is Overshadow versus Oil Refinery. That's going to be pretty exciting. Being cast by such legends of the casting community as Omant and Karis.
AKA yours truly.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's going to be the other game. So definitely check that out. Overshadow will be looking to get revenge after losing their first game 2-0. So that's going
but it'll be especially interesting because, as I understand it, Overshadow got beaten 2-0 by Budgeville.
They did.
But Oil Refinery, I think, beat Budgeville
they beat
in
Southgate
the division.
2-1.
Yeah. Okay. So it's. I mean, literally anything could happen tomorrow. So definitely tune in for that.
Definitely tune in if you want some nice dinner entertainment. That's your port of call. Anything else?
No, that's all I've got to say. So, thanks everybody for watching, and leave you to wind up a minute.
Well, wind up more like winding down, because it was one hell of a series that has left my voice quite shot. Luckily, I have water. Thank you all for watching. Thanks if you joined us from the other channels. Hope you enjoyed. And well, we'll see you tomorrow with Overshadow versus Oil Refinery, and then later on the 9th cohort versus Remember the Name. And for now, I wish you all a good night.
Good night.